The fear of being a first parent or a first mother was still there because I would wonder what happens when maybe you get to labor, what happens with the next trimester, the second one, because there are 3 trimesters. When I became pregnant, now the first trimester, I was puking during morning sessions only, but throughout the rest of the day, I was very okay. I was induced the first bottle. I think it's usually a medication. It didn't work. The second one, the third one. It got to a point I even didn't have the energy to push the baby. My dear, it's very painful.
You're scaring me.
Oh my God. It's painful. That is when you hear people say walivuta yata nywele. It's very painful. So I got to a point and I felt I was a bit fatigued. I was a bit drained physically, emotionally, because every time I had 2 children who were like below 2 years or below 3 years. So you see, it's a bit draining. So when it came to this pregnancy, this is a very unique pregnancy. Only pregnancy that I've had something called Hyperemesis Gravidarum. Hyperemesis Gravidarum is persistent and extreme nausea and vomiting during the pregnancy. And it starts from day 1 of pregnancy. It can go to the end of the 3rd trimester, or it can end at the 2nd trimester.
Welcome to another episode of My Story here on Parents Africa Integrated Media. And today we are very excited because we have a very special guest. She's going to teach us, she's going to entertain us. She's quite funny, as I've seen. So please welcome and give a loud applause for the one and only Esther.
Thank you.
Karibu sana Esther here,
Asante.
parents.
Thank you.
Please introduce yourself to our audience.
My name is Esther Mathenge, Mageria, Mageria. My husband is Mageria, my dad is Mathenge. And I come from Gilgil, but I live in Nairobi. I'm a mother, I'm a wife.
Thank you very much. So let's get started. Who is Esther?
Esther, by profession, she's a teacher. Yes,
See,
I'm a teacher, a secondary school teacher at a school called Magogoni Secondary Community in Thika. Yes, that is where I teach.
say hi to your students.
Hi.
So Esther, tell us a little bit about your background, how she was brought up.
Okay, I was born at Nyeri. Then my parents transferred to, moved to Gilgil, and that's now where I've grown throughout my life. I'm an only child to my parents, yes. So I had both parents when I was growing up, but later on in 2015, January, my dad passed on. So now I'm with my mom, who lives also in Nairobi, yes.
So tell us a little bit where now you get to get married and now you start a family of your own. What dreams did you have? Because you are an only child. Did you wish to have only a child only?
I did want to have an only child because being an only child is a bit lonely. So I wanted to have a big clan. And so by now I have 3 kids that are born and 1 that I'm waiting. It's not good to be an only child. Most of the times you feel you get what you want, you're entitled to what you want, you get everything, but the social life is a bit, what would I say, is a bit, you don't have the social life mostly, because my parents most of the times would not want you to get out of the home, out of the gate, because they don't want you to socialize with other people, and they were very scared. So most of the times I would just socialize with myself, or even with our relatives who come home and stay at home. So that is I would say it's a challenge.
Esther, as an only child, how did they make you feel? Your mental health as an only child, you don't have someone to share. Maybe you have a boyfriend somewhere and your mom don't. You don't want your mom to know. How is it being an only child?
Being an only child is, as I've said, it's lonely. Though we used to live with part of our family, we used to live with my aunties and uncles from my mom's side. So there's one auntie of mine who was very close to me. who we lived with her at times. Maybe over, when they close school, she would come home, not every time, but oftenly. And most of the times I would share with her issues. But my mom was a very strict person. So if you're dating, she would put you on your toes and you would be like, there is this guy that I have. She would just follow your life. Because even when I was at the university, even secondary, they used to come pick me from secondary. There are very few times I used matatus. So anytime it's closing day, they would come to school, pick me up. When I was in Desta at River, they also used to do that. Over the weekends, on a surprise, twende home. So I even didn't know what life was, having grown that I'm the only one, experienced the only life of being an only child. Even when I was at River, kadunde na nini, hapana, sijui. I didn't know those. Yeah, because I used to fear they might come, find I'm not in school. Then what happens,
Oh. Even on weekdays?
No. Me, I was always at River. From Monday to Sunday, unless I'm going home.
So, where did you meet your husband?
Oh my God, now this is a long story.
Yes.
So, before my parents moved to Gilgil, they had first settled at Olkalau. I don't know if you know the place. Nyandarua County.
Yes, we do.
Yes. And Nyandarua people are very nice. So, you see Akina, the ones who sing, the singers are from Nyandarua, most of them. So, we lived at Olkalau, a place called Site. And then they were also living in Olkalau. But we didn't know each other during my childhood, no, nursery up to I think class 4th here. But my parents bonded very well. So they knew each other from then and they would communicate. So as at a certain point, we moved to Gilgil and now them they moved to their Ushago place, which is Rorie. I don't know if you know of Rorie. You know Kasuku? You know Olkalau?
Yes.
Past the hospital, just the next town. So when they moved there, my dad was a social being and he loved people. So he still kept touch with them, with the parents. So one time they invited us for Christmas to their place and we went. So the next time, my dad was like, we can't be invited and then we don't invite these people for Christmas. Let's invite them. So we did, we reciprocated and we invited back them to our place now at Gilgil. So when they came, that time I was in primary still. Yes. So when they came, we still kept touch and contact and everything. So when I got to secondary, he would come and visit me. But there was nothing. He had not communicated anything, just like a family friend. You understand? So later on, when I was doing my Form 4, I did my Form 4. Then when I finished is when he started kurusha mistari kidogo kidogo. So by then, I didn't know what is dating. I didn't know how people date. Because you see, I'm telling you, I had been enclosed at one place and there was no moving out, like no socialization. So I didn't know what is dating. So even I used to wonder, how do you tell someone that I love you? You know, those were interesting things to me. So when I finished Form 4, he started communicating via email, SMSs, but I would not still understand. I would not think about it like dating, hi, he would just say, you're my sister, those things. So nothing like dating would come to my mind. So later on, I joined Desta after now finishing the Form 4. When I joined Desta is when he communicated what he wants. Then I was like, okay. I don't know what is dating, but we can still start. I didn't know anything. I was very green. So I dated him throughout my Desta life. And then afterwards, I told him he can wait for some time. I maybe work or rest from school. And he said it's okay. So then he married me. We dated like for, I think, 7 years.
Oh my God.
7 years. And at times I'll tell him, you can still marry, I'm not in a hurry. And he'll say, no, I'll still wait for you. Yes, so that's me and my dating life. And now that's the guy I'm married to.
Ladies and gentlemen, in my small years, I've never met someone who married their first love.
Serious?
Ever.
That was my first love then.
Oh my, what?
Yes. I don't know any other man I would talk about.
Oh my God.
No. No.
You could have met me earlier and advised me.
Yes.
From Nairobi.
Even at Esther, I used to tell people, you know, that time people would like, guys would approach me and I'm like, I'm dating. And he ensured, I think I had the engagement ring so early. Until sasa nilikuwa najiuliza hii ring nilivaa mapema ya nini, because now you know everyone is wondering. You're in campus, 4 years are done, you've finished campus and now you're out, you still have the engagement ring. So I had it for the 7 years. Jesus. And so if guys would ask me, I'll just show them I'm engaged.
You're such a darling.
I didn't want to risk, but he seemed someone who was very promising, and he had told me, I want someone that can be my wife. I don't want to play with someone, I don't want to risk, but I want someone who can be my wife. And during that statement, he also told me that there's a time the grandfather told him that never hold someone's hand you can't hold in your heart. So him wanted someone to settle with. Oh. You see? So I was like, oh, settling. And I've not had life. But I settled. Oh my God. Because I also didn't want to risk. You know, the way I would hear people are pregnant, then the guy has left you, you know, and then at home you have been abandoned. I didn't want those stories because I had already seen that my parents were very strict. And my mother especially, she was a very strict woman from Nyeri County. So I wouldn't imagine how I would go back home with a child and I tell her now I'm pregnant. No. Hey, no. To not be possible.
From childhood friends to family friends to dating to husband.
Yes.
He's a good man, Savannah.
He's a nice guy. He's a nice one.
You're done with campus? You started your career right away?
No. I didn't start working immediately. When I got married, after 1 year, I became pregnant.
Oh, so you finished school and then got married?
I graduated in 2010. I stayed out 2011, 2012. Then during 2012, I did my marriage, August. Yes. Then in 2012, December, I became pregnant. But then by then, I was working at Utumishi Academy, which is at Gilgil, the national school. So during the first trimester, I had some issues with the nausea, but it was not extreme. It was just the morning sickness. By then, I felt that still I needed to be in Nairobi, where my husband was, so that now, even as the baby grows, he would know that there's the father is there also. So I decided to resign from Utumishi and came back to Nairobi. Yes.
So this is your first pregnancy. You just have this morning sickness and you're okay.
During the day, I was good till evening.
Okay. Take us through now your first pregnancy journey, and especially to the first time girls who are not pregnant and maybe they're scared, they don't know what to expect. Take us through that journey.
When I became pregnant, and now the first trimester, I was puking during morning sessions only, but throughout the rest of the day, I was very okay. So the fear of being a first parent or a first mother was still there, because I would wonder what happens when maybe you get to labor, what happens with the next trimester, the second one, because there are 3 trimesters. There's the first trimester, there's the second trimester, and there's a third trimester. So with the first trimester, apart from now puking just in the morning and feeling very sleepy, there was no other issues that I had during that trimester. The second trimester is usually after now 3 months or some weeks. When I joined the second trimester, still I didn't experience any challenges. When it got to my third trimester is when now, you know, you start feeling very tired. The movement is slowed down because you can't maybe travel a lot. You can't even do a lot of hustles here and there. But again, the only thing that I feared was labor. That was the how does it go? You know, you get to the hospital and you're told there's a CS section way and there's the normal way. So I would not understand how these deliveries are done. So, but because I had my first baby at Aga Khan, they were able to take me through the classes very well, and I was able to understand about them. So when it got to delivery, I didn't feel even the labor. Oh. No. What happened is my baby had passed with 2 weeks or 1 week. So they had to induce me. Oh. Inducing is painful. My dear, it's very painful.
You're scaring me.
Oh my God. It's painful. That is when you hear people say, walivuta yata nywele. It's very painful. So during that time, before I got now to being induced, I had told them that I would want the C-section. But Aga Khan, they don't hurry to do the CS. So they had told me, no, we don't do the CS very fast. We wait until we see you're not able to now deliver the baby, push the baby. I think it's another issue. So I was induced the first bottle. I think it's usually a medication. It didn't work. The second one, the third one. Hey. It got to a point I even didn't have the energy to push the baby. And throughout this time I'm in labor, I'm with my hubby. He's there with me because they allow one person. So he's there and a nurse helping me out. But it got to a point now they saw it was almost to go for the CS. But there's a doctor who came and told me, just try, breathe in and breathe out. And the baby was out. Yes, but it's not an easy process. And the baby was big. So, yes, even now, he's 10. Oh. Yes, he's 10 years old now. And his name is Marcus.
Marcus is a stubborn man.
Yes. So
tell us, your husband's support during this pregnancy, which you said it was not that bad, right? Tell us how he supported you and the reasons why women should choose better when it comes to partners.
During my first born, he used to be there for me. You know, being supportive is in many ways. But I think for my clinics, even that time, you know, first trimester, you have the cravings. There are those things that you feel, I want this. At times, you would even get out of the house even 12 a.m. to go check for which supermarket is opened, to buy what I want. At times, you would find hakuna. You know, it's only that now supermarkets are 24 hours. Kitambo, like Quick Mart, used to be only during daytime and there was no 24 hours. So he used, most of the times if we didn't have a house manager, he would help me out with the chores and he would not want me to strain out. And yes, during my labor, he was there. Like, I wouldn't complain about him. With my pregnancies, I can't complain about him. He has always been there for me. And even after delivery, I think after delivery, it's like the kids are usually his. He has them, he will change the diapers, he will feed them, he will carry them. Yes, most of the people even in church know him like Baba wale watoto. You know, they don't know much about the mother. They only see the father because he will be holding one and the other one is on the hand, holding this with this other hand, holding the other one, you know. Yes, he's very supportive. Very supportive.
So there are good men in this country.
Yes, they are. They are. But you pray. Before I got married, you know, there's a time I used to even do tithing. Because I did what? My pocket money. Because I didn't want someone who would stress me up. My dad was the best father that one can experience. He was just the best.
Now that you've mentioned that, I don't know if it's for myself or for everyone else. Please tell us how women are influenced into choosing a husband depending on the kind of fathers that they had.
I think that one has a very positive or negative impact. Because when I was looking for a guy, I was looking for someone who fits very well into my shoes or fits into the shoes of how my dad used to be. My dad was that family man.
Thank you very much. Now let's go back. I had that issues and like we are deep in that. So right now you've told us that you are expecting.
Yes.
Is there something different with this pregnancy than the first three?
Okay. I've had 3 pregnancies. The first one is a boy, he's 10. The second one is a girl, she's 8. The third one is a girl, she's 6. So after that the sixth baby, when I got the 6th baby, I put a full stop. And now I'm back to it 6 years later.
Wow.
Not that I do want a baby, but in between you just say, I want a baby, you're not serious, You're like, hey, these other ones followed each other. There's a friend of mine who told me, Mama watoka nitoke. Because immediately this one is born, the other one is out, the other one is out, So I got to a point and I felt I was a bit fatigued. I was a bit drained physically, emotionally, because every time I had 2 children who were like below 2 years or below 3 years. So you see, it's a bit draining. So when it came to this pregnancy, this is a very unique pregnancy. It's very only pregnancy that I've had something called Hyperemesis Gravidarum. Hyperemesis Gravidarum is persistent and extreme nausea and vomiting during the pregnancy. And it starts from day 1 of pregnancy. It can go to the end of the 3rd trimester, or it can end at the 2nd trimester. But my situation is very unique because when it started from day 1 of pregnancy, it got to the 2nd trimester and at some point it stopped. Then when I'm in my 3rd trimester, it's recurring again. Yes, so you have extreme vomiting and nausea. And so from my pregnancy, what I've experienced is there is a time even I would salivate a lot. So at night, there is a bucket that I have. I've even kept it as a treasure. I call it, it's a small bucket. I call it a blue bucket because it's blue in color. So I used to keep that bucket in my bedroom beside my bed. Because at night I would wake up and I have salivated so much and I can't swallow the saliva. If I swallow, I vomit. So I used to spit it on the bucket. But during this pregnancy, from morning to night, I've been puking, vomiting. Yes.
So, when you say from the first day of pregnancy, what do you mean? Is that you just went to the hospital and maybe you took the test and you find out that you're pregnant, or it just happened because when you get pregnant you don't know first until some signs or you miss your period, something like that. When is that first day you mean?
My first day, I mean, by when I started vomiting. When I experienced the vomit, I knew something was very wrong with my body. And I was still waiting for my menses, and they had missed.
They're not coming.
They are not coming.
Was it planned? Was this pregnancy planned?
I had been saying I want a baby, always. So it just came. It was not like we had sat and said, now we are looking for a baby. No, it's not like that. But again, the baby came, and we were okay with the baby. So from then, when I found out that I'm not getting my menses, I decided to go to the nearby hospital and check. Because now I'm vomiting and I'm feeling a bit nauseated, I'm feeling a bit fatigued, so I knew something is very wrong. But in my mind, I knew I was pregnant. So when I went to the hospital, they told me you're pregnant. So by then I was 1 week and something. Yeah.
So this morning sickness that women go through, it takes about the first trimester, right?
Yeah.
So during your first trimester, you just thought this was just the normal morning sickness?
Yeah, during my first trimester, I thought it was the normal nausea, morning sickness, and it's going to end within 3 months. But now what was very different, I've never salivated in any other pregnancy. I've never. And also, in these other pregnancies, at least I can take something and it used to go through the system, right? Maybe I'll take biscuits, I'll take something. So when I went for the test, the doctors, when I told them what I'm going through, one of the doctor told me, you're going through hyperemesis gravidarum. And that is when I knew about such a condition.
That was the second trimester or still?
No, the first. When I got tested and they told me that I'm 1 week pregnant, and I told them what I was experiencing, the doctor told me, you must be going through hyperemesis gravidarum. I've never heard of such a condition. I never knew people go through such situations. So I went into Google.
Oh, Google is a bad
Google.
one. You are dying the next day.
I went to Google and checked what is this hyperemesis. But there's a time I shared what I'm going through with my friend called Koi. And when I told her, I think she got also very disturbed, and because nothing would go through, and I had started now getting dehydrated, and at some point my skin would pin off, and I would be, if I stepped here, it would be like flour for ugali. You understand?
Yes, yes.
So I understood I'm dehydrated. So she told me, when she came home and found that my skin was peeling, the face, she looked at me and on the face and she was very shocked. So I knew something was very wrong. So she also went home and Googled, and she found hyperemesis. So she wrote to me, you're going through a situation or a condition called or referred to as hyperemesis gravidarum. So now that is when I try to identify and learn more about this hyperemesis gravidarum. But in everything that is explained, that is what I used to go through. Because now I would at times puke because I don't have anything in the system.
Yes.
I would puke at times even foam. On the bucket foam, yes. So I would wonder, why am I puking foam? And I had to consult my doctor. And the doctor said it's because I don't have anything. There's a friend of mine who's a doctor. She's Carol. And she told me it's because you have nothing in your stomach. So that is why you're puking the foam. And I would puke even bile.
Oh, God.
And the bile was very, it's bitter. And then it would affect my throat. Because now it would give me reflux, acid reflux. So I would feel pain, I would feel very stressed. And hyperemesis is a very terrible condition because it can make you get into depression. You can get depression, especially if you don't have supportive people. And during this time of going through the vomiting season, there's a time I would, the way you're puking, you're pressing on puking because it's coming out, and you want it to be out of the system for you to feel comfortable. But again, as you're puking, I had to be always in the loo. Yeah. Because why? As I puke, the urine is coming out. There was no control.
Jesus.
There was no control.
What?
So when I asked the doctor, he said it's because of the pressure. You're pregnant, there's pressure, and there's pressure. So always, I had to be always in the loo and always have a bucket.
How did this condition affect your daily life?
I stopped going to work.
Yeah, you can't.
Yes, since January, I've never reported back to work because now the distance from Kahawa to all the way Thika is a long distance. And it's not Thika town, it's past Thika. So the doctors advised, because of the condition, that I don't go to work because my pressure was also affected. I used to get low blood pressure. The lowest pressure, it's usually like 110/50, 110/60. The normal one is, I think, 110/70 or something. Mine used to go to 110/40. So that is low.
What happens when your blood pressure is low?
The doctors told me that when you get low blood pressure, your kidneys can shut and the baby can die. Yeah. I used to experience low blood pressure until even recently when I checked on Saturday, it was low because it was 94. So both were low, 94/50.
And what happens to the baby now? Because you're still functioning and the kidneys are not that shut. What happens to the child when the blood pressure is quite low?
what happens like now, because it's, it fluctuates, it goes low and then gets back to normal. So what they advise is I get dehydrated often. But during the first and second trimester, I would not dehydrate, I would not drink anything, because like I tried ginger ales, they were not going through the system. Water wouldn't go through. So during this trimester, what I'm doing, I usually freeze water. So I take it when it's very cold. So when you take it, it's a bit normalizes or stabilizes. But you're able to know your pressure is low, because you start feeling headache. I start feeling like, most of the times I feel headaches. So the baby is still, I think the baby is still fine, because they always do the checking of they always do the scan, and they find the baby is okay, the growth is okay. There is a time they had said the growth was not fine, and the baby was found to be 6 grams. So, so when the radiographer saw the report, because I had gone to the hospital with a severe backache, I've been experiencing severe backaches also. So when I went to the hospital, it was at night, and the radiology who did it found that the baby was 6 grams, and that time I was 26 weeks. So the senior radiographer requested I be called immediately, because that was not normal. So they had to redo it. When they did it, they found the baby was almost 1 kg, so that is okay. That means what the baby has been consuming are the nutrients that I have in my body. Because even now in my trimester, I don't eat like I should be eating. The meals, small meals, oftenly, I don't. When I take now breakfast, maybe later on I might take water or dinner, and at times I skip because I don't feel hungry. Yes.
So, since now you don't eat, like when, especially during the vomiting, what are you eating? Like, how are you surviving?
I was surviving like that.
No food, no water,
no food, no water, nothing. Nothing. I'm telling you, nothing.
The hospitals came.
And then there is a point that came, and now they said I need to take glucose water, and I had to be, to be dehydrated using the IV. They refer to it as IV. Yes. So I had to be, the drip had to be IV'd.
During that time, what were your support mechanisms that helped you go through it?
I thank God that I have I've talked of my husband who is supportive. Yeah. I have a mom who is also very supportive, because anytime she would call me and feel I'm a bit low, she would tell me, should I come home, because we are just near each other. And she would also be very stressed.
Oh, the strict
one. Yeah, the strict one. She would be very stressed, and she would just come home. And there's a time I even didn't have a house manager. She had gone for her holiday over Christmas. And she's the one who used to come and do the chores. My mom. She would come, because in the morning my hubby has left, gone to work. So he has already helped the children. They have taken their breakfast. He has prepared for them the breakfast, and he has also maybe prepared lunch at times. But there's a time he traveled. So that time my mom used to come daily, do the house chores, clean the house, cook for the children. Yes. Then also, I have very supportive friends. There are not many. I don't have a crowd of friends, but even the few that I have walked with me through this journey. And all I can say is God bless them. They are so important in my life. Yes, very important. They used to come. You would find just someone popping in the house in the evening, in the morning, anytime, calling you, texting you, and they are always there for me. Even now, I wouldn't say that because now I'm a bit improved that they are not still there. No, they are still there, and I just appreciate them and thank God for such people. Yeah. My children too, oh God, may God bless them. There's a time that had come and they were like marathonians in my house. Because when they saw me puking and I've forgotten maybe my bucket somewhere and I'm just there confused, everyone is running. Why is mommy's bucket, you know? And they'll bring it to me. I just thank them for being here. I just thank them. If it was not for those people, I don't think I'll be living now. I would have given up. Or maybe at some point said, now, you know, you just tell God, do with me what you want. But I think having a supportive system, a support system in your life is very important. It has taught me so much. It has taught me so much. Because there's a time when with this pregnancy, my mom had to be admitted. And my friends are the ones who admitted her. I went and I was puking, but they did everything until 1 p.m. at night. You can imagine having such a supportive system. It's not an easy one, but I thank God for them. My mother-in-law too, she has always been praying and calling me, asking me, how are you doing, you know. And she said at some point, and she was talking to my friends and told them, I've never seen such a situation with Esther in her life. The times I've seen her pregnant, this is too much. But I appreciate them all.
Please take us.
And also my principal, my boss, she's just the best. Because when I explained to her, she was very understanding. And even when I sent my leave days, she would try to approve them. If they are not approved, she would tell me. And she has always been communicating with me. How is the situation? How are you doing? It will be well. You know, having such a boss. There are some bosses, I think if I was in a private institution, that is the best thing of being in a government institution. I will not be working. Yeah, kitambo. Kitambo sana. But I thank God for her. Hey, because if it was not for such people,
So, take us through the dynamics of family. Before this pregnancy, you were there for your kids, you were there for your family, you were doing everything for them. And now this Hyperemesis Gravidarum, it's here. Now they have to be the one to be there for you. How has that changed the family dynamics?
I think for this time, since October, that I've been experiencing those challenges, the dad has been helping with the chores when we didn't have our house manager. And also the children have also learned to do several activities. You know, I never used to there to tell them like make for yourself an egg or breakfast or clean your utensils. You know, they were just finishing putting them in the sink and there's someone to do it. The house manager is there or even me. But now they had to learn that. Because I wouldn't wake up to help them. You know, at times I would even like crawl because I'm not able to walk. You know, I'm very weak, even the legs. So they had to first learn those things. And now I think it has helped them because I didn't think of how my children would do these chores, Aji, and I'm there and there's a house manager, but at least they have been able to learn them. So I would say at some point it has improved my children. It has now helped them learn that they can do these things. They can prepare their school uniform for tomorrow because I used to tell them, go get your clothes for tomorrow to go to school. And they would do it. So it has, in a way, improved them. Because if I didn't have these hyperemesis, I don't think I would have gotten to a point of telling them do. I'll just be doing it. Or I tell them, tell your auntie to help you out or so and so. But now it has helped them. And I think it has also helped them to learn because my son told me, I thank God I was born a man. So it has helped them see the challenges that women also go through in life. And I hope and trust that it will help them to deal with women, especially him, because he's a boy. I tell him now, you know how to deal with your wife because you have seen what your mom has been going through. So when you get to the point of marrying, then you know how to treat your wife. You have seen how your father has treated me, and you have also seen during my situation how you have assisted me. So you need to learn how to treat that woman. And there is a point I told him, when you're harassing your wife, I'll be very angry. I'll be a very angry person. So I think it has helped them, and even when they see someone going through the situation, even at their workplace, in future, or even now, when they are still very young, they will still understand that person. Because some people will not understand your situation.
No.
People think you're pretending. Yes, when you're going through this, what unafikiria, maybe hataki, you know, especially like families, when you have get-togethers, hautaki kazi. This one, because she's born the only child, she doesn't want to work, she doesn't want, you know, blah, 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 those things. But it's not pretense. It's not. You wouldn't want to pretend with such a thing.
Yeah.
This is a gift. It's a blessing. So you can't pretend with it.
So, how is your mental health for you and your family during this time?
I think during the first time, we were affected. I would feel like, you know, the way you would feel like it's like you're losing it. That's how I would feel. But I think as time has gone by, I've stabilized. And the best thing is I've had people to talk to. If I didn't have Ningechizi, because it was a situation I didn't expect, it was something I've never thought. I've never heard about hyperemesis. If I had heard about it, I would have Googled and knew how to deal with it. But at some point, I felt like I was getting a bit of depression, kidogo. But because I had people to talk to, it helped me. But I also think even at times, it affected my children at some point. Because, you know, at times I'm feeling helpless and I'm shouting at them. And they're not understanding. At times I'm telling them you won't play. And they're wondering, why should we not play? And we should be in the house with mommy, you know, because I want them to help me. Because at times I used to tell them I'm feeling like I'm too fatigued. I feel like falling down, you know, they had to be there for me. So at times I think it affected them. It affected them. But it's only that maybe they are not able to say it. Yeah. But at some point I would feel it has also affected them, because even them seeing you vomit every time and there's nothing you're picking when you eat, there's nothing that is being retained in the body, it surely affected them. Especially the 10 and 8 one, Marcus and Duta are able to adjust kidogo. The one who was more affected is the small one, the 6-year-old one boy.
Yeah, because she needs the attention of her
yes.
mom, but her mom is
not giving her attention. She used to come near and I tell her, no, move away, all of them. And you know, during this situation, I didn't want smells, perfumes. I kept all my perfumes aside. So if I would meet someone with perfume, air fresheners, you know, even breath-wise, I would not condone any type of bad odor or even good scents. I didn't like them. So at times, maybe they have come to you. You can feel maybe they have not brushed their teeth, maybe they are from the loose and they are flushed and then sprayed, and I would tell them, just get away from me. So at some point, I can be very sure that they got very affected mentally. The dad, I think he's that guy who you will not notice is being affected, but maybe when he gets outside, he's surely affected. But when he's in the house, he will not show you that he's affected by your situation. But you know, even at times, even him, you know, you're feeling terrible, you're feeling miserable. So I know even him, he got affected.
So do you have a support system that came in now for the whole family? Like you said about your friends being there for you. How do you view life and people around you during that time?
I would say they gave us an easy life for the people who knew, because not everybody knew about my situation. Even now, there are people who don't know that I'm pregnant. It's like you.
What do you mean you're pregnant?
So most people don't know that I'm pregnant unless you're like, yeah, how, you know, unless I tell you. So the few that we told have been there for us. They have been talking to us. They have been telling us it's a situation that will come to an end. You know, it's not permanent. They have had even time. I have had some friends who take even my children for a day out or even to their home, and they just rest and I'm left alone, for them to at least get a different environment. So what I would say is that they have just been supportive. I wouldn't complain.
How are these health providers helped in situation, and do you think this condition is people are they even aware of that? Because I wasn't. It was my first time hearing it. Do you think the hospitals are more aware of that, and how do you think they help even the people with such conditions, especially through their mental health? Because I'm sorry.
I think the doctors know about it, but most women don't know what hyperemesis gravidarum is. So I think they need to enlighten people about it. But also with the doctors that I've dealt with, I wouldn't say that they have not been supportive to me, because the doctor that I've been dealing with has been encouraging me and telling me some women go through it. He told me 10% of women, was it 2%? Sorry, it was 2% of women go through it. Imagine 2% is very kidogo out of 100. So 88 don't experience hyperemesis. 2%. And I was like, why do 2% experience this situation? He told me it's just hormonal changes in your body. So the doctor has been supportive. He has been doing a follow-up and has been telling me, if you experience this, maybe you're feeling headaches, you're feeling maybe fatigued, you need to come to the hospital and be checked. And maybe by also putting people into drip. I think that's the only way they can help about it, because there is no system where people sit down with hyperemesis and then they put you like a group that now you can discuss what you're going through this trimester. I've not seen such a support system.
Okay, so we need that.
We need that, because that one shocked me until I was like, I need to start even a TikTok page for myself and tell people about this, because it's something that, you know, unless you're a bit enlightened or you're a bit exposed, I'm imagining about those women in remote areas who might not know what they're going through. That person might even, maybe some people have died out of it, and not few, it might be many, because they don't know. Maybe you don't have doctors who can enlighten you about it, or they're just thinking it's a normal nausea. But now you see, when you get exposed and you get to ask and maybe inquire from the doctors, maybe they're able to tell you. But I think there should be support system for people who are going through that hyperemesis in their pregnancy, because during that time they're able to at least sit once in a while and discuss it. Because if it's not for that, then it's a terrible thing. When you hear me saying terrible, and I'm that girl who has a big zeal, that sickness will not make me not go to work, it will not make me not do chores. I'm one girl who likes traveling. I'm one girl who likes kuzunguka, kuzunguka. I can wake up in the morning, come to town, go back home, do this, I'm that person. But for the last 31 weeks,
You've been humbled.
yes. Even my friend yesterday was telling me, there's a situation that comes in your life to humble you. And then I was like, so this pregnancy came to humble me, because mimi ni mtu wa zile tu miradi. You think of this business, I'm in Kamukunji, I'm thinking of what to sell when I'm not at work, But this one has contained me in the house. I don't get out of the house unless I'm going for the clinic, like today when I'm coming for this interview. And now when I'm going back home, I don't leave the house.
No, I feel bad because if I knew it was this bad, I would have requested we come to you.
Don't worry.
I swear.
But
Right,
you
Ma?
can come. You can come visit. When the baby comes, you come
I
or
want
before.
to see that
You're
child,
much,
like,
I'm also waiting because I've not even done the gender. My babies want to know the gender, but I said I don't want.
I want to
Because
see this
you know,
child.
there's always a wish that you have when you want to get that baby. And because I've told you very well, my dad was very close to me.
Yeah.
Very close to me. He's a treasure that I've still kept in my life, a big one. I would want to have him.
Oh.
Because when I was trying the second time and that time, I was trying to get my father. So that is why I don't want to check, because we have already talked with the children. The dad is never bothered by gender. The dad, as long as it's a child who is healthy, we thank God. But again, my son wants a brother. My daughters want a brother. So I also want my father. So I've not done the gender. I've done the 3D, I've done the other scans, but I told the doctors I don't want to be told the gender. I've said I want a surprise. But the small baby is insisting, because we went with her for the clinic on Saturday and she told the doctor, I want to know the gender. And the doctor was like, let me check if it was sent. So when she saw it was not sent, she was very angry in the office and she was like, what are you telling me that the gender is not here? How? Show me the baby. She was shown the baby on the screen. Oh. And then she was like, I want a baby brother. Oh. So we have discussed with them, and I got to a point and affected if we don't get a son, a brother for them. So I told them any child is equally the same. If we get a girl, it's fine. If we get a boy, it's fine. And I know most people, because most people have been telling me, I know you want a boy, which is there. I can't deny that. But if I get a girl, I'll still appreciate the baby girl. I'm okay and thankful for that.
I will pray to God if He will answer anything for me this year. Let Him give you that boy.
Amen.
I want your father to, because your father is
he was a man of the people.
Yes.
He was a man of the people, and not a man of the people like we read in the books. Then someone changes to be that bad who is taking advantage of people. He was a man of the people in helping people, in loving them, in being there for them with a big heart. He had that.
We need another person like him.
Yes.
As I'm
Thank you.
looking at you right now, I still don't know how. I would have died a long time ago. I have problems. I still don't know how you were able to survive that, and you're still surviving it. How are you able to stay so strong and so strong-willed and still look this good? You don't look like your problems, I'll tell you that.
I think it's only, I would say it's God.
God.
In this situation, I would say God has just been faithful in my life. Because it was not for Him holding me, walking with me, I don't think I'll be alive now. But because He knew of such a situation in my life, and He knew that He would take me through, He has been in my life. I can't tell you it's anything else, because I've been looking at myself and people have been looking at me. Because if you saw me when I was too dehydrated, I was very weak walking, my legs, even stepping down was an issue. And people can really say it's a testimony. But then I just say it's God. That one I can tell you. He has given me even that energy. Because during that time I was too dehydrated. I was still walk even if I was struggling from one place to the other in the house. And even if I felt like I'm feeling like I would fall and anything, He still held me strong. So all I can say is God. I don't have anything else, because even me at times I look at myself now and I'm like, am I the one? You know, I've always had, if I'm not going with a paper, the bucket, the blue bucket, I treasure that bucket so much. I've always had polythene papers or the Ziplocs, because even here, I don't think I remember to carry any, but I usually go with them. You know, you're puking, you go somewhere and people are saying, let her be served first, even in that clinic. But the energy that I have now imagine I'll tell you it's God. Because even people used to look at me wananiambia no umekondaki. So and hukuli, then I'm like, yeah, I'm not eating, I'm not drinking. But I can tell you it's God. At least in this trimester, I'm able to take water, kidogo. And I don't take things that are too hot, apart from tea. Water, juices, they can't go through up to now, unless it's cold. But I tell you, I'll just say it's God, nothing more, nothing more. That is when you say, you say you have seen God. It's through this situation. Because there is a time that I would sleep and expect maybe tomorrow I'm not waking up.
Oh,
Yes, because if the pressure is low, when you have low blood pressure, you can't sleep and go forever. It's very common with low blood pressure. My sugar levels were okay, but with low blood pressure, everything shuts. Everything shuts in your body. Oh, now imagine you've left the hospital and you're told your low blood pressure is 40. And you're like, yes. And one time my friend asked me, she's a doctor, why did they discharge you from the hospital? And I told her they told me to try and take water or that ginger ale. And it was not going through. So when I told my doctor, he told me, come, you get drip in the hospital. Because they already saw danger. Yes. If the kidneys shut, then everything shuts. So there is a time I would sleep and not knowing if I would wake up tomorrow with this pregnancy. Hiyo tu ni God. Hiyo sina ingine. Yeah, sina. I can't say anything else. Because seeing tomorrow a new day is by miracle. A big miracle.
So you were not aware of this condition before. If you had known, what is it that's so different that would have happened or you would have done?
If I had known like that I would be in this situation with my pregnancy, singepata mimba. Because I even told my hubby, if this was the first pregnancy, listen, I would not have gotten pregnant anymore. I would have been satisfied with one child. And that's it. And we close the chapter.
Yeah.
So if I knew of the condition, when I'm pregnant or when I'm not pregnant, by the way, when I'm pregnant or when I'm not.
Let's say, okay, when you're not pregnant, you wouldn't have gotten pregnant. When you're pregnant now?
When you're pregnant now, if I knew about it, there is nothing much I would have done. Because the same challenges that I've gone through are the same ones I'll still be going through. So there is nothing much I would have done.
How has this pregnancy changed your perspective on motherhood? Imagine the way you've suffered with this one. Someone slaps your child. Me would kill them.
Now listen. That's another one. With this pregnancy, I've learned to appreciate women. And there's a time I used to see when maybe I'm boarding a matatu and I would see maybe my hubby stands for a pregnant woman and I was like, nini na tumelipa kiti. Unajua, I wouldn't understand kwa nini yeye anasimama anampea kiti. But with this pregnancy, I've learned even not to never judge any pregnant woman when I see them puking, when I see them maybe, at times you find someone just stranded somewhere and they are standing like a zombie and they don't know what to do or something. I've learned to get to now try and get to know what they are going through. And for the ones I'm able to be very close and show them the love and care, I'll do that. Because I remember during my first trimester, there's someone who thought that, I wanted to be pampered by my hubby. So that is why I was going through this. They were in a certain occasion. And so my hubby told them that I have to leave and go cook for Esther potatoes, boil for her potatoes. I see if she is able to eat those potatoes. So that lady didn't know that it was communicated to me. And she was like, I'll get another pregnancy so that I get pampered. But she doesn't know it's a condition. She doesn't understand it's a condition. So that is being judgmental.
Yeah.
I've also learned not to be judgmental. In any situation, when I see any pregnant woman, not even the one going hyperemesis, any, I just appreciate and take you as you are. Because pregnancy, even if it's with the nausea for the first trimester, it's still a hard thing. There are other challenges that come with the different phases of pregnancy, like tiredness, like fatigue, like, there are so many things. You might not even be knowing what that woman is going through, even back at home. I thank God I have a supportive husband. There is one who is carrying and without hyperemesis, but the luggage she has carried in her, the load she has in her mind and body from her home, it's too much than hyperemesis. So I've just learned to appreciate and care for them, the ones that I'm able to care for them. And yes, just support them. I don't know.
As we conclude, do you have any plans maybe to start a support group for people maybe with hyperemesis?
Yeah, I've been thinking, I think this one has made me think a lot. Because even there's a time that I even thought, can I write a book?
You can.
Because I'm in languages, I'm in English literature. And I thought, yes, I can write a book. Can I start my online thing? Yes, I went to town and do for the microphones. And yes, I think I would want to start a supportive group. And not only for the Hyperemesis Gravidarum women, but also for mothers for all mothers. Because I've discovered mothers go through a lot. It might not be hyperemesis, it might be preeclampsia. That is blood pressure going high. It's also another issue. There are different issues that women go through during their pregnancies. And what I've discovered is that most of them shut. They don't talk. They don't say it. They only suffer, which is a terrible thing mentally. And that is why you see, when these mothers give birth, after birth, most of the times they get the postnatal depression. And that is why you find some women are killing their children, and you're asking why, but you have not gone to the deeper understanding of what this woman went through. Because I was also reading hyperemesis can give you postnatal depression. But now, because I've had a supportive system and I'm able to talk to them, and I have friends who are counselors, when I feel loaded, I just share with them. So to get to that postnatal depression is not easy. But now, what about a woman who does not share their issue? They just shut and suffer alone. So what will happen? Later on, you can find that the baby is killed. But this is something that should have been dealt with before she got there. So, yes.
So maybe you can talk to our audience and maybe tell them how they can contact you. When they hear your story, they would like to reach out to help, to support, to even form that support group you're talking. Maybe there's some women who will be interested in that. So please talk to them.
So I would say maybe they contact me through my number, which is 0725 654 604. Esther, I'll appreciate to help you and guide you where I can, especially because I've already gone through the process and the situation, so I'm able to guide people with hyperemesis. And even if it's not hyperemesis, if you want to get in touch with me about any motherhood thing or story or any idea or guidance, then I'm just here for you. I'll help you where I can. Yes, we can do it together.
She's a teacher, guys. We're all here because of our teachers. Thank you very much, Esther, for gracing us with the presence. I'm feeling guilty. We should have come to you, not you coming to us.
Don't worry, it's fine. No, don't worry, it's fine.
And I wish you all the best.
Thank
We
you.
will pray for you. We will support you.
Thank you.
If you need our help, please reach out to us.
Mm.
And I wish you get that baby boy.
Mm.
That's I'm putting everything I want in life at stop,
Mm.
and I'm telling God, if you have to answer something, even if it's just one,
Mm.
let my prayers go to you.
Amen.
Thank you
Amen.
very much
Amen.
for having
Thank
us.
you.
I have learned a lot. I'm sure our audience will learn a lot too.
Mm.
I'm speechless.
Mm.
And you're so graceful about it. And you look healthy to me. I wouldn't have known.
Thank you, Diana.
So I can see God's grace just surrounding you.
It's sufficient.
And you're going to make it.
Mm.
And you're going to have a good time.
Mm.
I wish
Thank
you
you.
the best, Esther.
Thank you, Diana.
Thank
It was a pleasure. To my baby, I would say I love you so much, even when you're not born. We have walked through a journey that has not been easy. But I thank God that the journey is almost coming to an end, and always know that you are destined for greatness. I love you so much, and I appreciate being your mother, and I will always love you in every situation. You've made me learn what life can be when I'm a mother. And at times I felt discouraged, at times I felt it's very hard for me. But because you're a God-given gift and a blessing to me and to our family, we appreciate you. And always know that even when you're in this womb, that I love you so much. You're appreciated even by your siblings and everyone. We love you. Thank you.